Welcome to the Lander County Commission meeting.
This conference will now be recorded.
Town Board of Battle Mountain and Austin Board of County Highway Commissions, October 8th, 2020. This meeting will also be held via conference. All right, so we're going to go ahead and call it to order. Art, do you want to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we're going to go ahead and have a moment of silence. And make sure, we're going to go forward. Make sure if you're not speaking, if you're a teleconference, that you have your phone on mute, please. All right, we're going to go ahead and go forward. For Lander County commissioners may break for lunch from 12 p.m. to 1:15 p.m. Any agenda item may be taken out of order, may be combined for consideration by a public body, and items may be pulled or removed from the agenda at any time. So commission reports on meetings, conferences, and seminars attended. Art?
I went to NACO. I'll let Patsy catch you up on everything. She was there too.
Okay, any other meetings and you're good? Any other meetings, you're good? Alrighty. So the meetings that I've gone to, the Battle Mountain General Hospital I had last night, I was there via teleconference myself. One of the biggest things, obviously, was the COVID information, and with the losses, the hospital has had almost $700,000, if not more, of losses in revenue, and so it's been, and it's still going, it's still happening, as far as the loss generated from the people, I think, of fear of going to the hospital. And so that is still happening. So I wanted to make sure that we knew that that is still an issue that's going on. The other thing is, it wasn't a meeting, it was just a telephone conversation, but it's worth bringing up. I spoke with, just about a week ago, I spoke with Ty Gray from Nevada Mining Association, and I kind of pinned him down on how the Nevada Mining Association is going to go on these bills that are coming up. And are they actually going to support the counties and not just look out for their interest? And they said they were absolutely going to support the counties and look out for the counties because we're their hosts, and it behooves them to try to take care of the counties as well. So I wanted that pinned down from him that they were going to support us and not just let us go on our own. So I thought that was something that was definitely worth mentioning. So other than that, those were the only meetings or conferences that I had. So, Patsy?
Thank you. Yes, we did have a NACO meeting. Actually, it was held in Clark County the day after our last commission meeting. So that was on the 25th of September. One of our speakers was a Dr. Kristen Averyt. It's like Averyt, and she was actually speaking to us regarding the Nevada-wide climate action. And if you can remember, in 2019, Governor Sisolak issued an executive order calling for the development of the Nevada State Climate Strategy, and we should have that by December 2020. So she was speaking to us regarding that. They're mostly just in planning phases yet. But they want to set Nevada on a trajectory that will lead to supposedly healthier communities and stronger economy and more resilient natural landscapes. So he has quite a high vision in front, actually, with the emission reduction targets. It's net zero by 2050, but they've got percentages as we go along. So that was kind of interesting, but that's, as I mentioned, just still in the planning stages. We also had an update from Caleb Cage, and as you know, he is the governor's COVID-19 response director, and he's chair of the mitigation and the management task force. He gave us kind of an overview on what's going on with the testing efforts and enforcement and what they're doing as far as the enforcement going out to all the different businesses, which was extremely interesting. And some of that information is given to us on the percentages if they go out and do 200 businesses and they'll say, well, maybe 80% are in compliance. But then they'll go back a week later and they've got it up to like 95 compliance. So they haven't really been shutting down so much as they've been kind of working with them. I did want to mention the workshop that I talked about before, which was coming up for this Friday. And that's the NACO workshop on the oversight of public defenders in Nevada and how the new State Office of Indigent Defense is going to work. And that has been changed. They had a conflict actually with one of the task forces, and so that's moved to the 16th of October. You mentioned our NGM, of course, and yes, they have put together a community development committee, which did meet on the 30th. A lot of initial initiatives were brought forth and some priorities and such, and they are looking for actually projects that they will consider for consideration of funding, and that's all on a community local level. So that was interesting. One of the things they did highlight, they said they have to date paid out over $11 million, and some of that went to the governor's task force on COVID-19. Some went to senior centers, some went to food banks, and then they had some employee incentives with the gift money that actually went back to the businesses. But wow, you think of COVID and they've already spent $11 million. I don't think a lot of our citizens realize what all our mining communities really do. They don't take out of the ground and leave. They definitely are part of this community and they just give back all they can. I did have a Chamber of Commerce meeting on the 5th. The Chamber hosted our Oat Brand, which is one awesome tour biking across Nevada, and it was their 30th year going across. They go from actually Lake Tahoe all the way to Baker, and they ride across, and then they actually ferry them back. But they had a little over 20 riders. They actually served dinner and breakfast to 28 of the folks on that, and some of them were repeat riders that love the area and love to get out this time of year, so that was cool. We're also looking at some of our Christmas projects and what we can do for celebrations, so we need to work with the county and coordinate that. And yesterday I did have a national meeting with the Justice and Public Safety, mostly some national things that are coming down, and I'll report on that as it goes along. Thank you.
All right. Judy, do you have any meetings to report on?
I have nothing to report.
All right, thank you. All right, moving on to staff reports on meetings, conferences, and seminars attended.
Good morning. So I did speak with Corey Surla and on the vet parking, and he will be getting back to me. He's reaching out to some other chapters to see exactly what verbiage and everything else they used, and had some clear explanation. So moving forward, that will be back on the agenda. It hasn't been forgot. The Battle Mountain Airport, we are doing the final lift on the paving out there today, so if anybody would like to go out there and see that, that looks really nice. They're doing a good job. And then on COVID, so our current numbers, we have 86 positives right now. The total for Lander County, 13 of them are active, 72 are recovered. This cluster of 13 has kind of popped up here in the recent last few days. So that should be a reminder to all of us to, social distance and, practice good hygiene and washing our hands and keeping our areas sanitary, as sanitary as possible. If you're sick, stay home. We want to look out. The contact tracers, so is how this is working is they don't consider you a contact unless you are within 6 feet of somebody for a sustained period of 15 minutes. So a lot of people have felt that they've been in contact with a positive, but haven't been contacted by the contact tracers. And the county encourages anyone who feels that they have been in contact to, do the responsible thing and self-quarantine. They're saying 5 to 7 days to get test results back from when you take the test, and it's typically 5 to 7 days when you start feeling some sort of effect after being in contact, if you are going to have symptoms. So, with that in mind, and with the small community that we have, it's, staying vigilant is important. I know item number 2, there'll be probably more talk of that. We had 744 total flu shots given throughout Lander County. Pretty low compared to what we've had in past years, but the public's faith in what's going on right now seems to be a little bit shaken. So there are free flu vaccines at the Lander County Community Health still available. Anybody who would like one can schedule an appointment down there at Community Health and get a free vaccine. So that's all I have to update for today. Everything else on the agenda.
Very good. Moving forward. So for public comment, for non-agendized items only, persons are invited to submit comments in writing and/or to attend and make comments on any non-agendized items at the board meeting, if any. And discussion of those comments is at the discretion of the board. All public comments may be limited to 3 minutes per person. Again, at the discretion of the board. Reasonable restrictions may be placed on public comment based upon time, place, and manner, but public comment based upon viewpoint may not be restricted. Do we have any public comment or anything? All right. Moving forward. For consent,
Muted. Unmuted.
for consent items, all matters listed under the consent agenda are considered routine and may be acted upon by the Board of County Commissioners with one action without extensive discussion. Any member of the board or any citizen may request that an item be taken from the consent agenda, discussed and acted upon separately during this meeting. Consent agenda materials are available at the Lander County Clerk's office for viewing, and copies are available for nominal charge. So, number 1, approval of October 8th, 2020 agenda notice. Number 2, approval of May 7th, 2020 special budget workshop meeting minutes. Number 3, approval of May 14th, 2020 meeting minutes. Number 4, approval of May 19th, 2020 special budget workshop meeting minutes. Number 5, approval of May 21st, 2020 meeting minutes. Number 6, approval of July 23rd, 2020 meeting minutes. Number 7, approval of August 13th, 2020 meeting minutes. Number 8, approval of August 27th, 2020 meeting minutes. Number 8, approval of September 10th, 2020 meeting minutes. Number 10, approval of September 24th, 2020 meeting minutes. Number 11, approval of payroll change requests.
Okay, I didn't receive any payroll change requests, and the only minutes I did receive was May 21st, which were reviewed, and no changes. So I will make a motion that we approve number 1, the approval of October 8th agenda notice, and number 5, the May 21st meeting minutes.
All right, do I have a second?
No, second.
All right. Patsy made the motion, Art seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
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 None opposed, all right. Moving forward. So we're going to go ahead and, were we gonna do the payment of bills first or go straight to number 8? Okay, so, we're gonna go to number 1 for possible action to approve or disapprove the payment of bills. So do I have a motion?
If there are no comments on this, I'll go ahead and make a motion. We approve the payment of bills.
All right, so we have a second?
Yeah, I'll second it, but I think I have a check in there for reimbursement 209,276, so I'll second it, but I'll have to abstain on that particular check.
All right.
Okay, I'll have to change my motion then. What was your number?
209,276. I don't know if it's in here, I couldn't find it.
I didn't see one to you.
I didn't see one in the,
Oh, I thought it would be in here because I got my check.
Then it may be in the next one.
into the next room.
Okay,
I'll
so,
just second it then.
Okay.
All right, very good. So Patsy made the motion, Art seconded it. All in favor?
aye.
Not,
Aye.
None opposed? All right, so we're gonna go ahead and jump up to number 8. All right. Argenta Justice Court for possible action to approve, disapprove Argenta Justice Court's bailiff Nolina Castellanos to be given Lander County accrual credit time for annual/sick leave stemming from her year's service while working for the 6th and then the 11th Judicial Court, and whose salary and benefits were paid by Lander County.
Thank you, and thank you for moving me up. We have court in just a few minutes. As you guys may be aware, hopefully, Ms. Castellanos is now the Argenta Justice Court bailiff. And like all employees, she will be on probation for the 6 months. And but in the meantime, even when they're on probation, they are accruing sick leave and annual leave. She had prior years with Lander County with the Sheriff's Office. She left the Sheriff's Office and went to Juvenile Department for 11 years?
Since 2009?
Since 2009, up until just a few weeks ago, she worked for the Juvenile Department. And I would just like for her years under the Juvenile Department to be credited towards her accrual. She served the citizens of Lander County. She did a lot for the kids in Lander County, and even though juvenile falls under the district court, which is not considered Lander County, her pay came, a portion of it at least, came from Lander County. And I consider that she gave years of service for Lander County, and I think she should be given the credit for those years. So that's why I'm before you to talk to you about that.
I just have a question on your budget, Judge, because you did have it in for, and then we haven't had a bailiff for a bit. So how does that pay work in the budget?
She started out the same as my last bailiff. It's already budgeted in. Everything's already budgeted in. So that it doesn't change my budget.
So the increase doesn't make any difference?
Yeah, increase doesn't. It's just how she accrues her time.
Thank you.
This is Judy. I'd like to make a motion to approve Argenta Justice Court bailiff Nolina Castellanos to be given Lander County accrual credit time for annual sick leave stemming from her year served while working for the 6th and the 11th District Court.
Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
All right, so Judy made the motion, Patsy seconded it. All in favor? Aye.
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 All right, none opposed. All right, very good, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Again.
Right, again? Yeah.
Okay. Moving forward, for possible action to remove Lander County from the state of emergency regarding COVID-19. All right, Bert, you're on.
So I do have a letter here from Jason at the hospital, CEO of the hospital, that I'll read aloud to everybody. I think that at this time, it's everybody's understanding that we're probably going to table this more, so this is more for informational purposes. I think that keeping this on the agenda or every other agenda is something to keep the public vigilant and aware of what is going on, so we aren't ruled by big government as opposed to people making choices for themselves and being somewhat self-responsible. But with that said, I'm not trying to downplay COVID. I want everybody to know that we take it very serious. However, like every state of emergency with like a hurricane or anything else, they only stay in it typically for so long until all the problems have been identified, which they obviously haven't been with COVID. We don't have our rapid test machines, and we have some other things that once we have in place, I think the county will be much better suited to take care of ourselves. And at that point, this item will become more relevant. But with that said, I'll read Mr. Bleak's letter from the hospital. Dear Lander County Commissioners, with great respect, I feel the need to offer a brief correspondence regarding item number 2 of the October 8th, 2020 Commission agenda, which states, for possible action to remove the Lander County from the state of emergency regarding COVID-19. As the COVID pandemic continues on, I think we all share a great frustration that this microscopic virus has caused in our individual and collective lives. It seems that every aspect of our existence has changed as we have struggled to understand the ever-changing information and guidance that we are given. I would like, as much as anyone, to proclaim an end of this pandemic and state of emergency, but I do not feel that it would be appropriate at this time. On behalf of the Battle Mountain General Hospital administration, medical staff, I offer our advice to remain within the state of emergency until it is truly behind us. On Friday of this past week, we were notified that there were 7 new cases, bringing our active cases to 9, which is the largest group of active cases that Lander County has seen since the beginning of this pandemic. There are also many other states that continue to see a growth in COVID infections. This information leads me to believe that it is not time to discontinue the state of emergency. Aside from his letter, I would just like to point out that we've moved up to 13 that I pointed out in my earlier update. By discontinuing the emergency status early, there are several possible side effects that could be realized. Some possible side effects are as follows. Reduced communication of COVID patients' information between first responders, public health, and hospital as HIPAA regulations return to full force. Possible exclusion from access to the state emergency stockpile for PPE and other needs supplied if an outbreak occurred. Possible exclusion of the county and other county entities from receiving COVID relief funds and COVID-related grant money. May reduce the ability of public health officer and other county officials to take immediate and appropriate action to curb the rapid growth of an outbreak. May send the unintended message to the general public that there is no need to take infectious control precautions such as wearing a mask, social distancing, and good sanitation practices. Relaxing these practices could lead to the spread of COVID and the flu throughout our community. If the reduced focus on personal infection control causes our infection rates to grow, the ability to allow visitors to our hospital and long-term care facility will continue to be limited, if not discontinued. Though we do not agree with this discontinuing of the county state of emergency at this time, the medical staff and I are supportive of a systematic and methodical return to regular activity. However, we feel that it must be done with wisdom and patience as good science and common sense is used to make decisions. I offer and commit our counsel and advice to you throughout the future regarding this and any other health and wellness concerns. Please feel free to reach out to me with any further questions or concerns. Thank you. Sincerely, Jason Blake.
Bert, I have a question while he's coming up. Didn't you have some information from our medical director regarding the emergency
I do. I
declaration?
had recommendations. It's actually who brought it to my attention that the county had declared a state of emergency because I had hadn't paid that much attention at the time when all that had went through. We'd had some special meetings and called some special meetings with the health board, and so there's some thought that the other countries have not done any sort of social distancing, closed any businesses, done anything at all, and have had better results than we have had in America. Now, whether that be to testing or whatever that may be due to or not due to, the recommendations were that we maybe withdraw ourselves from the state of emergency. That was without the consideration of possible COVID relief funds being allocated to our hospital and schools. As we all know, the county has chose not to take them, but the hospital and schools, I believe, have. So with that consideration in mind, that's why I've kind of asked for us to table this for other entities within the county.
Okay, and I'm fine with that because with our declaration of emergency, although I understand the point, it's almost become normal now, is what we're saying, it's the new normal. But it does give you the leniency, for your application enforcement of our ordinances and such, and while we're under that declaration too, which I think is still important, so thank you.
Turn on your little, thank you, Dr. Wilcourt.
Good morning, Dr. Wilcourt.
Good morning, Commissioners.
You're on.
Hello.
Morning.
Well, I'm here to just reinforce the letter you just read from Mr. Blake. probably can't add too much more to that other than to say that we feel internally that we're on the brink of a massive expansion in COVID cases here in Lander County. There have been many contacts, very close contacts with some people who've had it, who are very sick, and we expect to see a significant rise in the number of positive cases, which is really unfortunate. We've been blessed so far with not having had to deal with this, but I feel it was inevitable, and I've said that for a very long time. You cannot legislate against a virus, and as long as we go on living and interacting with each other, the virus will continue to spread despite the fact that we're doing social distancing and wearing masks, which probably does help a little bit, but it's certainly, I think our president has proven that that's not enough. And if you take countries like Sweden, for example, where they haven't done any of this, their results are about the same as ours. So I don't think we've ever had really good advice from anybody, including the CDC. I made the comment the other day that Anthony Fauci has taken more positions in the Kama Sutra on this whole thing, and it's kind of unfortunate. But that's where we are. I'd just like to say that I think for the time being, we need to reinforce with the public that this is not going away, that to comply at least with the best advice we have, which is social distancing, wearing masks, and I cannot stress enough, washing hands. We are probably going to ride through this, and eventually we'll get there. But this is far from over for us here in Lander County.
Thank you very much.
So we're gonna have a spike. Eventually, no matter what, I mean, every flu season we do.
Yes.
So is this gonna be our spike?
I suspect it is, because we're looking at the number of contacts at the moment with the people who've been seriously ill, and it's not looking promising. And we've upped our testing. We've got a number of kids coming in now in the 12 and 13-year-old group with sore throats and runny noses, which is not looking good either. So I think we have to be prepared for this spike, yes.
Okay. That's what I figured, but we haven't quite hit our spike yet. We've been pretty good so far. And
Yes.
hopefully we have our spike and we control it and it goes away.
Yes, hopefully so.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
very
you, we
welcome. Thank you.
appreciate your comments, and if we did something like that and actually did not continue with our emergency directive, we don't want it sending the wrong message to our citizens. So I don't know whether we want to just defer this or whether we simply don't want to take action at this time.
No, I think we should keep it on our agenda so that we can review it every meeting. and
Absolutely.
Then that way we can be updated and we can update the public, and once this thing subsides, we can end it. I mean, we need to keep our eye on Florida. They opened up the state, and I don't think they're having any trouble, so the herd immunity factor probably is gonna work.
Well, we do get reports, of course, from Randy and, via Bert, but is this something that you want to keep on the agenda? Every
That is
commission
entirely
meeting?
up to you guys. If you guys would like it on every agenda, every other agenda, that is entirely up to the board. I would like to point out a couple things, though, is that the latest report we had on contact tracing was from October 7th. And in Lander County, they had identified 25 positives through the contact tracing. So it has identified some. And the rapid test machine, we're hopeful to get them by the 15th, which is next week. But worst case scenario, probably by the end of the month, and them take 15 minutes to get the turnaround for the test, and that could really help the county as far as identifying and putting a stop to it kind of in its tracks. At 5 to 7 days by the time we get a result back, in a community this small, people have been around quite a few people.
Okay. Well, and I think that if we keep an eye on the positives, and if they're up there, then, we're obviously not going to be taking it off. But if the numbers come down and they're steadily down and staying down, that's when we bring back and go, okay, I think we're Like I said, my biggest issue is I don't want to take us out of that and then something happen and we try to need supplies from the state and or the hospital or anyone else and we aren't able to get them because we basically try to defy that order. So I think that just to keep us, in the safe place of being able to get supplies when needed, like the sheriff's office as well, if they need to get masks and things like that, and we're not in that state, we're gonna be the ones that get it last. So kind of just wanna keep an eye on the numbers, see where we're at, so.
So would you like me to leave this off of a few future agendas until it looks like we've the curve is flattened, so to speak?
I think so, just because I think if you have it on there all the time, everybody's kind of almost walking on eggshells of like what we're doing, where if we kind of watch our numbers and when they're steadily coming down and we're not really going anywhere, and see what everybody else is doing. I know Carson City, I think their schools are even going back, Tuesdays through Fridays. So I mean, even we're gonna be able to watch them a little bit and see what happens. I know Idaho totally went out of it and kind of see, and because better safe than sorry. I don't want to stay in a state of emergency forever either, but I want them to also not cut off our noses to spite our face and that. So just kind of watch and see when we're leveled out, we're not having spikes.
So just to remind everybody, at the last commission meeting, we were at 0.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
this changes fast.
Yes, exactly, so.
Bert, I do have a question though, because part of our community, of course, is the tribal community. And yet, they're completely different since they're a sovereign nation, and they're not considered in our numbers, but they're still part of our community, and that's sometimes, I'm sure the hospital is testing some of those too. So I don't know whether we should be looking at some of those numbers with the concerns of our community, or?
Well, I do believe they do count against us there within the county, and so if there is a positive test there, that they count against the county. They are not excluded from our count.
My understanding
And
is
I
they
could
do
be
not.
wrong, but could you answer to that, Hope?
I'm not sure if they count. I thought they did count, but.
I thought they did too.
Yeah,
because they have to.
I agree with you, Bert, they do count.
Yes, I do believe, I know that was one of Winnemucca's major concerns, is that they had, their reservation is a long ways from the city of Winnemucca, and they had a outbreak there and it counted against them. So I believe Lander County is in the same boat.
Okay, let's just check that further, because my last understanding was they were not counted, so let's just verify.
I'll verify it, and by the end of the
Thank
meeting,
you.
I'll let you know.
Appreciate it.
All right. So we're gonna go ahead and move on. For possible action to approve or disapprove resolution number 2020-14 in support of the Lander County Land Management and Conservation Act. So if anybody who wants to make the motion and read that in.
Just for clarification, since Cassidy and Associates is still our lobbyist through this month, and this is the last one that they needed, is that correct? Because they have the main one that's in, and they have, everything's been introduced, so this is just a confirmation that they want read in with our updated map, is that correct?
Yes, that is my understanding.
Okay, thank you. With that, I'll go ahead and make a motion. The Lander County Board of Commissioners resolution expressing support for the Lander County Land Management and Conservation Act. I'm looking for the resolution number. Do we have a resolution number?
It is 20
Yeah,
2020.
Yes.
And it's not on the.
Okay. Whereas the Lander County Board of Commissioners unanimously approved County Resolution 2019-12 on October 10th, 2019. And whereas County Resolution 2019-12 noted its support and respectful request that Nevada's congressional delegation advance federal lands legislation in a manner consistent with the priorities contained in Resolution 2019-12, and whereas Congressman Mark Amodei introduced the Northern Nevada Economic Development, Conservation, and Military Modernization Act of 2020, which was H.R. 6889 on May 15, 2020, and whereas Division B of the Northern Nevada Economic Development, Conservation, and Military Modernization Act of 2020 includes the federal lands legislation consistent with the priorities contained in the Resolution 2019-12, and whereas Senator Jackie Rosen introduced the Lander County Land Management and Conservation Act of 2020, her bill was S 3465, and on March 12, 2020, and whereas Senator Catherine Cortez Masto is an original co-sponsor of the Lander County Land Management and Conservation Act, and whereas the Lander County Land Management and Conservation Act is consistent with the principles of federal land legislation contained in Lander County Resolution 2019-12, and whereas Congressman Amodei, Senator Catherine Cortez Masto, and Senator Jackie Rosen have advanced federal legislation in a manner consistent with priorities enumerated in Lander County Resolution 2019-12. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners of Lander County, that the Board of County Commissioners reiterates its support for County Resolution 2019-12. And the Board of County Commissioners supports Division B of H.R. 6889, which contains the Lander County Land Management and Conservation Act. And the Board of County Commissioners supports S 3465 and Lander County Land Management and Conservation Act, as well the reference to the county's updated map titled Lander County Selected Lands and dated August 4th, 2020. Be it further resolved, a copy of this resolution be mailed to the Nevada's congressional delegation, passed, adopted, and approved by the Lander County Commission, Nevada, on this day, October 8th, 2020, and authorize the chair to sign. Sure, I don't need a resolution number in there?
Yes, you do. Commissioner, excuse me, this is Ted. You need to, the agenda says 2020-14 as being the number. So that's, you have to put on the record that you've read Resolution 2020-14. Unless that's an improper number. If that's an improper number, we have to vacate the whole thing.
Is that the correct number? So you,
Thank you, Ted. And this is Resolution 2020-14.
thank you. Second?
Second.
All right, Patsy made the motion, Art seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, very good. Thank you.
So, Miss Patsy, the colony does count against our numbers. If they get too heavy, they can be removed from there, but that's a process, and I don't think with a community this small that it would be a good one for us.
Thank you for checking on that. All right, moving on. For possible action to approve or disapprove the appointment of two individuals to serve on the Lander County Planning Commission, which currently has two vacancies. New terms are from July 1st, 2020 through June 30th of 2024, and to consider all of the following applicants, to include Jerry Aniston and John E. Williams.
I will make a motion that we reappoint Jerry L. Annis and John E. Williams to serve on the Lander County Planning Commission
I would request that we do this individually.
from July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2024.
So meaning to
I'll
do,
second.
okay.
That's how you want to do it.
No, that's fine. Go ahead.
Ted, is that can they both be approved at once, Ted, or is that something that they have to be individually approved?
Well, they probably both can be approved at once, but you should individually approve them.
So let's do it, do them individually. So you wanna amend that and start with, Jerry first?
Okay, I'll make a motion that we reappoint Jerry L. Annis to the Lander County Planning Commission to serve from July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2024.
All right, so a second?
Second.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Patsy made the motion, and Judy seconded. All in favor?
No,
Aye.
Aye.
And I'll make a motion that we reappoint John E. Williams to the Lander County Planning Commission to serve from July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2024.
All right, second on that?
I'll second.
All right. Patsy made the motion, Judy second. All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed?
I'm opposed.
Okay.
And sincerely thank them again for their service.
All right. Moving on. All right. For possible action to approve, disapprove the appointment of one individual to serve the Lander County Economic Development Authority Board, which currently has 3 openings. New terms are from July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2022. And to consider all the following applicants to include Monica Seal. So, do we have a motion?
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
We need 3 people and we've only had 1 step up. Will we have a quorum?
Kyla Sharp for the record. We do have enough people on the board at the
Okay, that was
time.
my
We'll
only
have one
concern.
more coming up, but there is the issue with the state. Is it the conservation district that they're in trying to hire someone for that?
Well, how many people are on this board? 5?
8.
8?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right, thank you.
My only concern was that we had a quorum. Yeah, I'll make a motion that we, appoint Monica Sill to the, Lander County Economic Development Authority Board.
All right, second?
I'll second it.
All right, so.
Do we need the dates in there?
I re-
Okay, and the term will be from July 1st, 2020, which was a few months back, through June 30th, 2022.
Thank you.
Okay, so,
Thank you for stepping up.
so with that being added, do I ask again for the motion, or is it just him?
No, he continued with the motion.
Okay, make sure, all right, so all in favor?
All right?
Aye.
Aye.
None opposed? All right, thank you.
And our thank yous to Monica again.
Yes,
She's-
thank you. All right. Update from the Lander County Clerk regarding the 2020 election.
Peggy Surla, Lander County Clerk's Office. Sadie can be with us today.
All right, thank you.
So the update on the general election is everything's going as possibly could be planned for this crazy election we're having. We are still, hopefully everybody got their sample ballots already, and the official ballots got mailed out the beginning or the end of last week. So everybody so far has, I believe, got most of their ballots. All of the new people that are just registered, we're sending out ballots now to them. We've had 79 returned so far from people, from the ballots. They are given the choice to vote in person. That's still going to happen down at the Civic Center. Early vote will be October 17th through the 30th, and those times are in the sample ballot. So if anybody needs sample ballots, they can come see us. And then the day of election, November 3rd, we will be down at the Civic Center. You'll be asked to surrender your ballot, and then you'll sign a piece of paper, and then you'll be able to vote in person. You can also return your ballots if you choose to do the mail ballot. You can also return them at the Civic Center. We will have a lock-secured metal ballot box also, that we will check daily, and actually it will be in the view of someone. It will always be secured. We'll also have a ballot box upstairs, right outside the clerk's office, but our clerks are always there to take your ballot either way, and we'll check it in. And so, if you want to know if your ballot, if you choose to do it by mail, if you want to know if it has been received, you can go to the https nevada.ballottracks.net. And if you need that information, you can contact the clerk's office, and we'll give you that information also. As far as numbers during elections, once we actually start submitting our numbers to the Secretary of State, you'll go out to silverstateelections.mv.gov, and they will report. We have to report to them every morning by 10, and so you will be able to get those numbers whenever they make them available on that website also.
And we also have a locked box in the south.
Yes, we will have a lot box in the south at the courthouse, and it will be one that sits on the counter where it is visible to the person working at the courthouse. So they will have eyes on it at all time. And it will be locked. And it's a metal one also. You guys have any more questions?
Yeah,
Yep.
$1 million question.
Okay.
Will all ballots be counted on November 3rd?
Yes.
That's the end. It's not gonna be,
Not all ballots will be counted on November 3rd. If you have mail ballot, with the mail ballots, they have, as long as it's postmarked, if it's postmarked November 3rd, we have to count that. So if it comes in 3 days later and it's postmarked November 3rd, it is counted.
When is the last time you stopped looking at them? Or like, say, what's the cutoff date, whether, if it's done by the 3rd, it takes 10 days to get to you.
That 10th day, like after the 10th day.
When are they gonna close the counting?
The counting, I believe, what day was the counting? I'll have to get back with you on that one. I know it's 7 or 10 days after,
Wow.
as long as it comes in. Now, when we have to have all the final vote, like everything completely done, has to be in by November 16th. That's the day we'll come to you guys in a meeting to give you the official numbers and everything. So we will have that meeting. I believe it's already scheduled.
I'm sorry, our confirmation that is due from the commissioners is due on what date to the state?
I think it's November 16th.
November 16th?
That's the very last day.
Okay, so we meet on the 12th.
No, we are gonna have a special meeting on the 16th, I believe.
Yeah, but your deadline is way before the 12th, so it's very possible you could have it into us before that.
We could possibly, yes, we'll have it to you, but it won't be official until the 16th.
Okay, thank you.
Once I bring it before you guys and we say that it is good to go. Yes, but the numbers, yes, I'll probably have before then for you guys. But I'll give you the official date on what the last day is, that we have to have those, that no one can turn in anything.
All right, thank you.
I can get that to you.
Any other questions? Any other questions?
good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Judy, did you have any questions?
We're trying our best.
All right. All right, thank you guys.
You're welcome.
This is Richard Green for the record. Sadie asked me to give a tech update on what we got going on. Without giving too much detail away about the topologies that we're using, actually we're ahead of the rest of the state in security because it's closed. And the best way I can put it is that I'm basically walking the fence line every day and making sure the fence around our election tech is as well as using apps to do it as well. I don't want to give all the ways, but I would say that we're about 70% more secure than the rest of the state.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, moving forward. State of Nevada Department of Administration, Public Works, Division, Department of Health and Human Services, Division of Public and Behavioral Health Rural Clinics for possible action to approve, disapprove the lease agreement between Lander County and the State of Nevada Department of Administration, Public Works Division, Department of Health and Human Services, Division of Public and Behavioral Health, rural clinics for 825 North Second Street, Battle Mountain.
You get a chance to look this over, Ted?
Yes, I have.
We're good?
We're good.
Okay.
I think the difficult part about it is when you look at a lease and it's a new lease, you don't know what's changed from the old lease if you don't have that to look at. So I did ask about the amount that they were paying. In this lease is $17.50, and I understand that is an increase over the last part that they had been paying. So I think that should be noted for our county also. If there's no questions, I'll,
Megan has something to say.
oh, go ahead.
Lake & Sullivan, for the record, they were previously paying $1,400 a month. In March, they started paying $1,470. I'm not sure why it went up $70, but that's what they started sending in. So it would be an increase.
Thank you.
Thank you. I will make a motion that we approve the lease agreement between Lander County and State of Nevada, Department of Administration, Public Works Division, Department of Health and Human Services, Division of Public and Behavioral Health, rural clinics for 825 North 2nd Street in Battle Mountain, and I authorize the county manager to sign.
Second.
All right. Patsy made the motion, Art second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. So we've already taken care of number 8. So number 9, Public Works updates from Public Work Director. Good morning.
Morning, Donnie.
On already?
There we go.
Don Prince, for the record, for Public Works. Where do you want to start?
The sidewalks.
The sidewalks. They're going good. They're really going fast. They're bringing in another crew to help out, and they're going way faster than expected.
They look nice.
They do. They
And
do a
we've
really
gotten a
good
lot of
job.
compliments on
Yes,
them.
yes.
And I have heard
I'm really
different
impressed. I didn't expect them to go this fast, and they're not working on steady per se, because they're bouncing back and forth between the water line and that, and yeah, everything's going really good there, and it's going way faster than they expected too, so.
They look very nice.
Austin, we're finishing up in Austin, coming in under budget. But they did extend the overall job for the state on the paving until November 20th. I just got that number this morning.
November 20th?
They're supposed to start grinding tomorrow for the pavement. That's all I got on that, unless you want numbers. I got numbers if you want. The airport water line. They extended the fire season again, and so we talked to Crystal from the NDEP, and she was okay to wait to do the tie-in till after the fire season. That way we don't happen to disrupt their service, just in case, they're in the middle of loading planes or something. We don't want to disrupt that. So.
What is that? Do they have an idea of the date approximately when?
Yes, 45 days, October 31st. So. The frontage road line here, going across, we're having to do some more, what's the word here? Engineering. He has to go through a Clomar because now they're saying it's gonna affect the levee. So.
Oh, well.
Yeah. That could be an issue.
Yes.
And I just got a text message from BLM on our force main, and that's been a big mess because there's a little pie shaped over here where the line's gonna go that was actually under the Tuscarora BLM district. And apparently there's no Tuscarora BLM district anymore. Whether it's from COVID or people quitting, getting laid off, whatever, they don't know, but so they're trying to go back to an old contract where Battle Mountain takes it over. And as of 9:30, I just got a text. We're just waiting to see if Doug Furtado will okay us to take that back.
Okay, very good.
But that's it. Oh, the dog park. I was hoping to have a date when they'd start on that today, but I haven't heard nothing yet. I apologize. but I also got some benches for in there too. So,
Good job, Donnie.
thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Hope I did it proper this time.
Thank you.
Pardon me? Oh,
Thank you. All right. Correspondence reports, future agenda items.
This is a record meeting.
I know, right? 1 hour.
Yeah, I got, did we ever get have we ever got the IT guy's contract back? We talked about it, but I don't think we approved the contract yet.
The what?
The IT guy, the IT guy.
The IT guy.
For the clerk's office, right? For Richard?
Are you talking about Richard for,
Yeah,
no, so we never did put another contract in place. I think, Sadie and Laura are working together to get that worked out.
Okay.
He is working on everything within Lander County currently, and he's moved down to the IT room.
Okay.
But he is still under Sadie, and, her and Laura are working that out on the budget.
yeah, because he's working full-time and part-time, so we need a contract for that.
Yeah, I think it's additional duties.
Additional duties.
I don't believe that they have changed so much a part-time, full-time, but I think that that's what they're trying to do is make additional duties.
Full-time with additional duties.
Correct.
Okay, yeah, I think.
Yeah, so when there's a budget change financially, it will be back in front of you.
Oh, okay, so he does have a contract from Sadie?
He does. He's an at-will employee, so it's not through the union. But he is employee of the county through Sadie, an at-will employee.
With full-time and additional duties?
With full-time and currently working on additional duties,
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
Do we need to look at, maybe next time or the time after on our burn ban?
I was gonna say the same thing.
Yes, I believe when we first get our first rain that we will probably bring that back before you. It's pretty dry yet, and
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we need to leave it in for a while. Yeah, me too.
We're supposed to have
No moisture yet.
huge winds this weekend.
Okay.
Let's just leave it in for a while. Yeah, it's getting a little more
Great.
scary.
I also think, we should look at something, for our Christmas celebrations. And along with that, some of the counties have actually taken a formal, response regarding the Halloween activities. I don't know whether we want to or just ignore it, or whether we want to make a statement, or, because I've had people call the office and ask, and
there's a level of personal choice in everything we do in life.
I mean,
And that is
it's up to the-
entirely up to the commission, and I
what-
believe our sheriff may have
Yeah.
more of an input than I would ever
Up
on
to
that.
all of you,
but-
whether you want to put it on and address it. Not address it? Okay, but the Christmas one needs to be on.
What would you like on the Christmas one, just
Yeah, what we're gonna do for Christmas celebrations, I mean, we've got some of the counties that are canceling their parades and such, and, if we're gonna go forward with it, we need to know now whether we're going to do Christmas celebrations or not. I don't wanna wait till, we start planning on it, and all of a sudden, a week or two before, they say, no, we're not gonna do it, so. And even last year, we put up the new Christmas tree, and we really did everything at the last minute, going like this. And so, I think we should think about it and discuss it.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea, bring it. The only thing that would stop it in my mind would be an emergency situation with a COVID outbreak or, atomic bomb or something like that.
Well, 'cause I
As
think-
far as celebrations, I think we need to keep our celebrations. This is America.
Miss
Well, it
Wick-
needs to be discussed. We
Yeah.
need to put it on the agenda.
You got it. Christmas celebration, what to do or what not to do. Would you also like the partitions on the
I
agenda?
would like the plexiglass partitions on the agenda also. Thank you. And then hopefully, you'll have some information, we can do the veterans parking signs again.
Yep.
Okay.
And are we contacting anybody from the VFW, or is that something that Corey's gonna be doing, handling that? all of that?
Yeah, Corey's doing some of that. I need to reach out to a few of our local VFW people that are involved there and try to get them involved in this. And I should have done that before now, and I haven't. So.
All right, very good. All right. So do we have a motion to, with that, we're all done, motion to adjourn?
No, public
No?
comment.
I'm sorry. Sorry, I forget that part every time. Public comment. Sorry, thank you.
May I bring back, what I was gonna tell you guys? The update for, the elections. Okay, you had asked, so, the final
I'm
numbers.
sorry, I'm confused. Is this more on the election?
Well, it's just what I told you I'd bring back to you, so I'm bringing back to you.
Okay, then
what-
we need to open up the agenda.
Oh,
This
okay.
isn't public comment.
Oh, okay.
Okay, thank you. We'll open it
Okay.
up for, that's okay, we'll do it.
So what item number was that?
Six.
Six.
All right, we're gonna go back and open that up. Okay. All right. So, go ahead.
Okay, so I wanted to tell you that the final numbers will be on the 12th of November. And the canvas of the vote will be on the 16th of November. Okay. And for Art's question on the last day they could turn in a ballot, the 7th day following the election. 7th day. After, following the election. So after November 3rd, they have 7 days. But it has to be postmarked by
We
November 3rd.
won't know who wins the election until
November 12th.
So we're giving the mail 7 days to get it delivered to the clerk's office, right?
But they have to be postmarked by November 3rd.
Got it.
They can't be postmarked after that date.
Okay.
So
Well,
I just
thank
wanted to
for
let you know
doing
that.
No, I
Okay?
appreciate that.
Yes.
make a motion to adjourn.
No, we're still back on public
need public
comment.
comment.
Thank you.
Oh, we haven't done that yet?
Public comment?
I wanted to remind everybody that the state water engineer, it does have a hearing, and that's what, Wednesday, I believe, here in the community room, and it is regarding some of our basins, so it is important.
All right, thank you. No more public comment? All right.
I'd like to thank the county for finally grading the road over Hilltop after 3 years.
Oh,
It's much better now.
very, you're welcome. Thank you.
Took a while.
So,
Is there a regulation that the county has to maintain the roads, like at least once a
You
year?
want to bring him up with a name?
I can't hear
Um,
that.
Dawn?
I can't.
That's a minimal maintenance road, and that's basically just as needed.
Who determines that?
That's a good question.
And why is it a minimally maintained road? Who decided that?
Kathy, it's not discussion, it's
It's
just,
not, so, it's not a discussion for, that's on the agenda, so if you'd like to get it.
I just want
No,
to say thanks for grading the road.
oh, not a problem, thank you.
if you just wait afterwards, you're welcome to talk with our public works director, though.
Yeah, so we can find that out, so, are we good? All right, now,
Kathy,
yes,
I could not hear a single thing this person was saying.
oh, they were thanking for, what did they do? Great, doing Hilltop Road. He was just, a public comment was thanking. And then wanting the understanding of how that works, how often it gets done, which he will make contact with Public Works after the meeting.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Motion to adjourn,
A second?
the third time.
Yeah. Third time's a charm. Second?
Second.
All right, so Art made the motion, Patsy second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Very good, thank you, everyone.
This conference is no longer being recorded.
1 hour. Scale disconnect.